Yes, indeedy, my fellow figure lovers, it's that time of the week again. It's time for the 26th Colonel Marbles Miniatures Review vidcast. Now, some of you out there have been questioning what this weekly top 10 of mine is supposed to be exactly. How come if the Colonel doesn't like something, it still gets into the top 10? Well, those are good questions, my friends, but I won't be boring you with the answer. Instead, on with the show. I'm very pleased to say the show continues to be sponsored by Rattlehead Games, fine purveyors of many of the independent sci-fi and fantasy figures featured in the show. French company Take On U's Tannhauser game is at number 10. This board game is about World War II Uber-Nazis, and it has a new green on show. This time it's an Allied officer called Ramirez. He's not doing a whole lot for me, I have to say, but I still love the concept of the range as a whole, and look forward to more demented Nazi ghouls in future releases. Andrea Miniatures take the number 9 spot. This is a new 30mm Angel from a company better known for their work in the larger 54mm scale. The wings do look a little tacked on to me, and the sword holding posture looks a little odd. However, overall you have to say it's a powerful piece and well sculpted piece. I'm not sure at the moment what it's going to retail for. Coming up on the inside rail at number 8, it's Brigade Games. These are new greens of some Buccaneers, available to pre-order from their online store as a set of 15 miniatures for $40 US. There are plenty of great pirate miniatures already out there, from Black Scorpion's new range in particular, but these are still good quality figures at a decent price. Freebooter miniatures are at number 7 this week. Werner Klock's latest sculpt is this female warrior. Now, I'm usually a big fan of freebooter figures, and indeed I do like the details on this one, but it's the overall pose that's a problem for me. The way she holds the sword is frankly preposterous. Anyway, it will be available shortly for €9.90. Previous Marbles chart topper Killer Bee Games are at number 6. They have a couple of new releases. First up is Jex Starkiller, the Galactic Gunfighter. And this is Klug Pluton. Both minis will cost £2 UK and are sculpted by veteran Bob Ollie. They are nice figures, but the subjects don't grab me in the way that the Mecha Man certainly did. At number 5 this week we find Marbles' favourites Hassle-Free Miniatures. Yes, this is another new hassle-free green pick on the web this week, a cracking dwarf wizard appropriately enough going by the name of Grimdarf. This sculpt has buckets of character, and a subject that personally I find a lot more engaging than say last week's pseudo-Roman Hobbit General, but it's horses for courses. Alpha Forge Games make it a number 4 this week. This is, of course, a Mimjip Death Mask drone with animated zombie. Rather a neat idea this, with the floating tentacled nasty animating corpses on the sci-fi battlefield. Very different stuff, well up to Alpha Forge's usual highly inventive standard. Into the top 3 now, and at 3 we find Urban Mammoth's Metropolis. Now, we've seen in previous casts the large claws or war machines for Metropolis, but now Urban Mammoth are releasing some of the grunts for the game. This Gladiator faction Brennan figure is very nicely done indeed. And for the Syntha faction, this is codename War Machine. The shoulder pads are very Space Marine-ish, but otherwise it's a good mini. And to wrap up this sample of their new releases, here's an excellent Gladiator flamethrower guy and a well-executed rank-and-file grunt. Well, it was a really close call this week, but at the end of the day, Infinity Miniatures came in at number 2. This is a cutter or Varuna naval chasseur, but I like to call them cool manga robot type things. Very nice indeed. And up next is this Foxtrot Ranger. It has a very US Marine in Vietnam type look, and it's just another excellent miniature. And this is a Naphaton or flamethrower dude to you and me. Again, it's a wonderful sculpt with just the right level of dynamism. Sponsored in part by Blue Table Painting, your first choice for an excellent miniatures painting service. But at number 1 this week, and I don't recall that ever happening before, it's our old French chums Rackham yet again. Yes, I make no apology for choosing a confrontation green once again. This is an Archon of Farthy, who apparently are warrior monk minotaurs. What will they think of next? I have to say this is a monstrously good sculpt of a fantastic subject. Rackham really seemed to be on a roll once again. So there you go, my friends. We've sadly reached the end of another thrill-packed edition of the Colonel Marbles Miniature Review vidcast. But fear not, chums, for I'll be back next week with the same biased, conceited, and almost certainly ill-thought-out opinions on the latest picks of 28 to 32mm sci-fi and fantasy miniatures. So I'll see you then.